We are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Truth with Tammy. Sorry for last week missing. I wasn't able to be here. I did have something else going on, but I am back and I have a very hot topic this week, kind of switching a little differently to scripture. Are we supposed to still keep the Sabbath? Please feel free to chat, to put your comments in there, whether it's yes, we should, or no, we shouldn't. I really like to hear from you, as this is something that needs to be discussed more. And any chat that you give me makes my algorithm go up, which helps me be able to share this with more people. And like always, like and share and subscribe to help me grow more and to get this word out there more. So in the scripture, it tells us about the Sabbath, and it tells us that we should be following it. But many people think that when Jesus came, he came to abolish it. But there's lots of scripture after that kind of disagrees with that. Like Matthew 5, verse 17 to 19. And I am reading from the English Standard Version. It says, "Do not think that I have come to abolish the law or the prophets. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. For truly I say to you, until heaven and earth pass away, not an iota nor a dot shall pass from the law until all is accomplished. Therefore, whoever relaxes one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven." And then Ezekiel 20, verses 12 to 24 says, "Moreover, I gave them my Sabbaths as a sign between me and them, that they might know that I am the Lord who sanctifies them. But the house of Israel rebelled against me in the wilderness. They did not walk in my statutes, but reflected my rules, by which if a person does that, he shall live. And my Sabbaths they greatly profaned. Then I said I would pour out my wrath upon them in the wilderness to make a full end of them. But I acted for the sake of my name, that it should not be profaned in the sight of the nations in whose sight I have brought them out. Moreover, I swore to them in the wilderness that I would not bring them into the land that I had given them, a land flowing with milk and honey, the most glorious of all lands, because they rejected my rules and did not walk in my statutes and profaned my Sabbaths, for their hearts went after their idols." Not a very good thing that happened to them, because they didn't keep the Sabbath. Luke 4, verse 16, "And he came to Nazareth where he had been brought up, and as was his custom, he went to the synagogue on the Sabbath day, and he stood up to read." Now we know that in the scripture, when he passed away, they observed the Sabbath, right? During Jesus's time, Yahushua's time, they observed the Sabbath. So if he came to abolish it, why were they still keeping it when he was crucified, right? Deuteronomy 5, verse 2:15, "Observe the Sabbath day to keep it holy, as the Lord your God commanded you. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, or your male servant or your female servant, or your ox or your donkey, or any of your livestock, or your sojourner who is within your gates, that your male servant and your female servant may rest as well as you. You shall remember that you were a slave in the land of Egypt, and the Lord your God brought you out from there with a mighty hand and an outstretched arm. Therefore the Lord your God commanded you to keep the Sabbath day." Luke 23:56 was when he had passed away. Then they returned and prepared spices and ointments. On the Sabbath they rested according to the commandment. So it's pretty clear in those scriptures that I gave you that we should still be keeping the Sabbath day. No work shall be done. So we shouldn't have a paid job. We shouldn't do housework, dishes, cleaning, all that stuff. Do your prep the day before for your meals. And it does say not to make your male or female servants work. The more I've been studying it, if you go to a restaurant or something, they're working. So we don't have servants nowadays. So I think it means that. But I would love to see your comments, and put in the comments what you think about the Sabbath day. And there's other scriptures too, if you wanted to hear more. There is Colossians 2, verse 16 to 17. "Therefore, let no one pass judgment on you to questions of food or drink, and with regards to a festival or a new moon or a Sabbath. These are a shadow of the things to come, but the substance belongs to Christ." Matthew 12, verse 12, "Of how much more value is a man than a sheep, so it is lawful to do good on the Sabbath." Genesis 2, verse 2 to 3. And on the seventh day, God finished his work that he had done, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work that he had done. So God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, because on it God rested from all his work that he had done in creation. So he had the rest, and he expects us to have the day of rest. And it's a very great time to spend time in the Word, to spend time in the presence, have your alone time with the Lord, pray, seek him, and spend time with your family and just unwind and rest. I know when I started doing my Sabbath rest, it has cleansed me and strengthened me and cleared my head after a hard work week. So put in the comments what you think. Should we still be doing the Sabbath rest, or do you think it was abolished? Have a blessed day and see you next Thursday, Elohim willing.